Welcome back to How Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, anime review episode number 23. Yeah, this took me a while to finally get a chance to do this video. The reason why is because, I kept getting interrupted, and the fact that, this was a pretty lengthy chapter that this episode adapted from. By the way, the name of the episode is called Gargling Hand Washing is the Basic Epidemic Prevention. Yes, that's the serious name of this episode. And the way it looks for this episode is that, last we covered chapter 3. I kind of thought, though, they would go straight to chapter 4 with this one. Nope, they skipped the chapter. And they went straight to chapter 5. And they even they basically cut the first portion of the chapter, like the first couple pages. They skipped over that. And then the episode opens basically quite unusually, where we have Sotoma, Carla, a new character named Owen. By the way, they cut his introduction, because here's the thing, this character was not seen last episode. They bring up the fact he's teaching Sotoma basically some martial arts moves. And the see us here. Now, it's like you get this episode like, why the heck are these four wandering through the town for? There was no scene to set this up. And they're just... You have Lucia in the schoolgirl uniform again. First time since, like, the previous... at least that one they had a pretty good explanation for it and a reason. This feels completely random. Like, if you didn't read a light novel, you'd be like, okay, why is Carla here? Why is she not in the castle cleaning? Who is this guy Owen? And why is Lucia wearing her outfit that she wore last time she was out gallivanting? And you might be curious, at least think of an explanation where the other three are, where they mentioned that Roanoke is busy with the merchants. Yes, they do bring that up. Aisha is doing martial arts training, and Juna is busy with her show. I'm like, okay, at least the anime gives the explanation where those three are. But I'm kind of like, okay, if you're going to get to this point, why did you skip over the previous chapter? Couldn't you just adapt that? No, you couldn't for some reason. Looks like, the way it looks at the picture I saw for next week, looks like not even going to adapt that. They're going to go straight to continue this chapter. So, these four just walk into the streets, and where are they going? The slums. A place that basically was really bad. They get to like, oh, it's quite nice. Seems like a normal, regular district. Yeah, something mentioned you clean the place up. And then we have the debut of a woman. They mentioned about this, they do have this little, they go to this cafe, they explain the whole thing about hygiene, about wash your hands, typical stuff here. And then we see the debut of a new character named Heidi, who for some reason, like, okay, they bring up the fact she's a doctor. Okay. Why couldn't they show her whole face? They couldn't have her pull down her mask she's wearing. Now, I'm not really sure. Now, I get the reason why she's wearing it, because she's spraying this little cleaning solution across the town. Perfectly fine. But if she's not using it, why in the world is she still wearing the damn thing? I don't know if this is basically a thing with the whole, like, oh, they probably have her keep it on, despite the fact, here's the thing. You probably think that this is the first time she's ever seen, like, because here's the thing, in the book I was reading, like, there's no picture of her in the book at all. She actually made her debut, like, the first time you see her what she looks like is in the cover of book 15, which was released in Japan already. It was released here some point later this year when book 15 gets released. Basically, before I continue with her, basically Soul Talk talks about this three-eyed race. Now, in the book, they mentioned about Tien Shinhan from Dragon Ball Z. This, I understand the reason why they cut that. Okay, yeah, referencing DBZ was nice in the book. They're probably going to do the anime because JC's staff doesn't own the rights to DBZ, so you can't reference it at all. No, you can't. My guess is the reason why, because if they dare bring up a character like Tien Shinhan by name, then, and this is just my personal theory why they cut it, they probably did it to avoid a legal suit from Toei. That's my personal guess, anyways. Despite the fact that, look at the series, that's how my recurrence is slime. There's several references to DBZ in that one. But they may not mention the series by name. But yeah, there's tons of references to it because Valdora is a big fan of DBZ. In the case of this series, they reference Tien Shinhan by name when they bring up this three-eyed race who apparently is very good at developing medicine. And apparently what they look like, I think like third eye. Like, I was thinking like something about like basically what Tien Shinhan looked like with an actual like third eye in the forehead. Nope, apparently the third eye, the way it's shown here. And yes, she had this. Basically, it's the same outfit. Basically, it's like the people who made this episode took the outfit Heidi wore from the cover book 15 and put that in the episode. Because the outfit, they added the whole thing of her having a little back thing, just the spray thing in the mask. That is from the cover book 15. Because she's from the books, which is indeed true. Now, the stuff they cut here, that in depth this episode, was more stuff with Gina, who happens to be Ludwig's fiance. There's a whole chapter dedicated to her. Yeah, the whole thing with chapter 4. That might be adapted for a later episode. It's possible. Hopefully they do, because it looks like next week they're going to finish this one up. So, apparently the third eye is kind of like a little red eye with like little slashes like that there. I'm like, okay. You're probably thinking, did she have this look in the cover? Yes, she did. And that's why that's my opinion where they put this look for her from, because it's not from the book, it's from the cover. That's what they based on. She's from the book, which kudos for the anime basically getting that part right. Excuse me. Yes. So, yeah, they get that part right about her, but why in the world they went with that look, I don't know. So the inducer, they mentioned a partner named Brad something, apparently is a partner, who apparently is not a member of Third Eye, he's just a normal human who's happy to be a doctor. And she's like the only doctor around here. So, then of course they stop by the training center they just set up just last episode. Now you're probably thinking, okay, they just mentioned this thing just last episode. And here it's already up and running. Like, what the heck? Apparently it's been going on for quite a while. Despite the fact, like I just said, it happened just last episode. A week ago. We just established the damn thing. It's like the people in this episode apparently just could not wait to show that again. Or in fact, they probably were rushed. Probably because they don't have many episodes left. So they probably want to rush through this book as quickly as possible. And by the way the scene goes, it's similar to the book, but they cut a lot of stuff out of the scene. Okay, so we have going to that center, which, by the way, they don't show in the episode. They show like this wall, like this gate, and you see like a little building. Don't get a clear look at the damn thing. We see someone outside the building, and we have Ginger, basically. His introduction to Lucia is very similar, but here's the thing. In the book, this happened in his office, not on the street. Why the heck they did this for makes no frickin' sense at all. Yes, I found this to be so baffling at best. I mean, if you can have this introduction. By the way, they actually go inside the place, and they actually mention what the place looks like several buildings there look quite nice. You know what I mean? Nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to have him come out. Like, oh, let's go get him, and then there he is. Like, what? It's like no sense of logic with this scene. Like the conversation basically is accurate. At least got praised the fact the people who basically wrote the dialogue actually kept that accurate. But man, they basically trimmed this scene down. Like, wow, it's like bare minimal. Like, oh, we finished basically visiting. Like, you never went freaking inside. Why the heck would you say that you visit the place? You went outside of it. You didn't go inside of it at all. Like, they mentioned the whole thing about the lunch program, which that was mentioned in the book, which kudos for the fact the book they kept that in. But my God, the whole scene with the training center, they really dropped the ball with. They didn't show the interior of the place. That would have been quite a nice visual. But no, we have to move on to the refugee camp. Yes, the refugee camp. Something that's not been brought up in the series since like the early episodes. I mean, it's been there. They do kind of make it the fact people from like a foreign country. This one, unlike the other one, they pretty much almost cut an entire scene out. Here, they kind of turned out a little bit of dialogue here and there. Of course, they mentioned these people running around for the demon realm, and like they're here briefly and they chat for a bit, and then all of a sudden we see people trying to kidnap some other people. We see a kidnapping happen. And then of course Carla and Owen basically help out the adventurers, because they do mention the adventurers basically brought here for security. In the book, basically, they say they're here for a quest, which counts as for security of the place, just prevent any like fights and prevent any incidents happening. Okay. And by the way, the adventures they just happen to run into are from the short stories, a certain group of adventurers. Yes, the one that popped up 3 times in the course of the books, in 3 different short stories, and even 3 episodes of the anime. And we have the character Juno back here, who Sultana immediately recognizes as Juno. Like tells the duck, and she's like, "What? Who are you?" And she has no idea the fact that Sultana is Lemashiko, the mascot. Yep. And then pretty much like, of course, Lucia's like, "What? You know her?" And I'm thinking like, yeah, he does. You just brought this up a few episodes back that you do know the fact that you know that she knows her. So, did the people who wrote this episode forget that factoid? Yes, they did. They completely forgot the fact that, Lucia knows that Sultana knows this woman. But apparently, people who wrote this episode apparently didn't know that. They probably didn't get the memo, whatever. Yes. So after they with the ruffians, they confess, "Oh yeah, we're here because we're hired by our boss as slave trader. Business is down because slaves are turning into civil servants now." And well, made a high profit, so it punches him. And Juno asks, like, "How the heck do you know me?" And like it was a crowd, he just easily slips away. And they're here. He reveals the actual reason why they're here, to talk to the camp chief. And that's at the end of the episode with that. I'm like, okay. I mean, I would say probably the worst thing about this episode is the pacing. Yes, the pacing is dreadful. It seems like at the start we have pretty good pace to it. And then all of a sudden, like half of the episode, we have to rush to everything at the very end. It's like the people who wrote this episode apparently knew that they shouldn't. They probably either. This is my personal guess. People who worked on all the previous episodes were on vacation for a week. Excuse me. I'm hoping JC's staff didn't fire the people who worked on the previous 22 episodes, because those people did a great job with this series. And they bring in these people here who apparently don't know what they're doing, and apparently they forgot an actual plot thread that was brought up a few episodes back. Yes. Now, I don't mind cutting bits of dialogue, but cutting out almost an entire scene is ridiculous. Probably by far, out of the old 23 episodes, this is probably by far the worst episode when it comes to pacing. Because, like, first half, pretty good. Second half, purely rushed. They rushed this episode. It clearly looks rushed for the pacing-wise. The animation looks fantastic. Yeah, the animation looks good. The voice acting is very good as well. I say the very brief action we have in this episode is actually pretty good. It's just that, well, they cut a lot of stuff out here that did not need to be cut, because it's like if you go from the last episode, 22, go to this one, 23, and you're probably wondering, like, okay, what the heck happened between episodes? Was stuff cut here? Like, a lot of stuff was cut. It's like they had to put this episode out for reasons. Either that the episode probably was supposed to be, was probably not ready yet, or they probably thought they had material, so they skipped over that chapter and did this. That's probably what happened. I'm not really sure. Yeah, probably by far, this is the first episode of the series that I've been disappointed with. Now, I've loved the first 22 episodes. They are great. Like, great pacing, awesome everything. They keep a lot in the book to cut little bits out here and there. But this is probably by far, in my opinion, probably the worst episode of the entire series so far. Well, you got that one bad episode in there, so why the heck not? Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this particular review. I currently don't have time to do the other ones. I would love to do the other ones, but this took so freaking long. So I'm going to have to save those for tomorrow. Not happy with that, but okay. But I'm going to do a couple of comic corners, and I'll call it night, okay? Next video. Bye.